There's a moment right before someone loses control where you can watch it happen on their face before they even say a word. The jaw sets. The voice climbs half an octave. The sentences start arriving faster than the thoughts behind them. And in that exact second, one person in the room becomes more unsettling than the one who's yelling. It's the one who hasn't moved, not frozen, not checked out. Just still, watching, giving nothing away. Your nervous system is built to trust people it can predict. Someone who refuses to react hands it nothing to work with. That's not luck. That's not personality. It's built. The same way anything else gets built, through repetition most people never see. Unclench your jaw right now. Drop your shoulders half an inch. Notice how much of your body has been quietly bracing for a fight that hasn't even started. That's the first crack. Here's what's underneath it. Calm gets mistaken for the absence of intensity. It's the opposite. It's intensity with nowhere left to leak out. You felt this yourself, watching someone stay level while everyone around them comes apart, and some small, irrational part of you wanting them to crack too, just so the room would make sense again. That reaction is called emotional contagion. Rooms are supposed to catch fire together. When one person doesn't ignite, it breaks a pattern everyone else was leaning on without realizing it. Their stillness isn't neutral. It reads as information. It says, whatever is happening to you isn't happening to me, which means I might know something you don't. That's the entire mechanism behind why calm outperforms volume. It was never passive. It's just control that doesn't announce itself. Two systems in your brain are competing for the wheel every time a conversation gets heated. One is fast and old, built to detect threat before you can think. The other is slower, newer, and actually good at decisions. Under pressure, the fast one wins by default. That's why you say things in arguments you wouldn't say an hour later with a clear head. What's less talked about is that this balance shifts with practice. Not through willpower in the moment, through repeated exposure beforehand. Sit with discomfort on purpose often enough, and the slower system starts winning more often, even under real pressure. You're not performing differently. The actual wiring underneath you is different. The fastest lever you have access to, right now, is your breath. And most people only reach for it once panic already has the wheel, which is exactly too late. Try this once, in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, out for 7 or 8, slow. The exhale is doing the real work. A long, controlled exhale tells your body directly, not through thought, through chemistry, that the danger has passed. Heart rate drops before your mind has caught up. This isn't a trick. It's a switch you were born with that almost nobody teaches you to find. Here's a distinction worth sitting with. Most people walk into a room and read whatever's already there, then match it. Someone's anxious, they get anxious. Someone's sharp, they get defensive. The room sets their pitch. A small number of people decide their pitch before they walk in, and hold it regardless of what meets them at the door. Someone escalates, they don't rise to match it. Someone panics, they stay where they were. Nobody announces this is happening. The room just, slowly, starts moving toward them instead. This is why lowering your voice when someone else raises theirs unsettles people more than arguing back ever could. They were braced for a fight that mirrors their own energy. When that fight doesn't show up, the tension they built has nowhere left to go but back onto them. Watch anything that has stopped needing to prove its size, how little it moves, how deliberate each motion is when it finally does move. Compare that to what nervousness actually looks like in a body: fast speech, restless hands, weight that keeps shifting like it's looking for an exit. All of it says the same thing whether you mean it to or not: I want out of this moment. Slowing down is the cheapest edit you can make to how a room reads you. Slower speech. Fewer unnecessary words. A longer pause before you answer than feels comfortable. And when you do make your point, stop. No explaining the explanation. No softening it into nothing right after you said it. The silence that follows a clean sentence does more than another 5 sentences ever will. Most people can't sit in that silence. Their discomfort with it is the tell. Don't give them that tell. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire through war, plague, and betrayal from people he trusted, and most mornings he sat down and wrote himself the same reminder in different words: There is exactly one thing in this life that's actually yours to control, and it's your response. Not the outcome. Not what anyone thinks of you. Not the version of today you'd planned on. Next time something spikes in your chest, ask one flat question. Is this actually mine to control? If yes, move. If no, let it pass through and keep walking. That one filter, used honestly and often, removes more noise from a life than almost anything else you'll try. None of this is a trait you're handed at birth. It's a rep, repeated in small rooms nobody's filming. The pause before you answer a message that made your stomach drop. The breath before you speak somewhere you'd normally rush. Staying level while someone is clearly trying to pull a reaction out of you, and noticing what happens to their composure instead of yours. No one applauds the argument you didn't escalate. There's no footage of it, but weeks in, something shifts quietly. You stop needing the last word. You stop needing to be understood in the moment it's happening. And you start noticing that the people who used to get a reaction out of you just don't anymore. That's the actual finish line. Not a technique you perform. A person you've become who no longer needs the chaos to prove anything.